Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Thompson, and we are about to start our lesson on histograms for this week. I have a short video on how to submit your math assignments that I will start with. Okay, guys, I wanted to make a quick tutorial for you to show you how to submit your assignments in math. I know that some of you struggled with that the first week, and I did as well, so I think I figured it out and will be glad to pass that along to you guys. When I open my Canvas, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to just go to Math, click on Student View so that it looks more like what you will see when you pull yours up. Don't forget to read all your announcements as they come in. I'm going to open the assignment requirements for histograms. It's very similar to what the first week looked like. I'm going to go right down here to the instruction book pages. We only need 309 through 311 this week. Your file, though, is all of the pages for lesson 28. So what you'll do is you'll just download that. It just takes a few seconds. I will replace this with the actual link once I finish making this video. But that will download and you will open that file. Notice while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and go over this, that it says the already video for histograms, no need to submit. We can check that on already, so you don't have to send a screenshot of your score unless your teacher has specifically asked you to, because I can pull that up for my class and so can your teachers as well. So really the only thing that you have to submit from this page are your instruction book pages. And it looks like we're almost finished downloading. There we go. So I like to just pull those over to the side. And actually, you could pull those over to the side and leave them there for the next weeks as well. And then I just open those. And again, you see that you have everything all the way through the whole lesson. We're not doing all of that this week. The first week, you had page 308. This week we have 309, 310, and 311. So you'll go to your first page and where you want to start answering, you can either just click and it will make you a text box. Oops, sorry. Pull that. It'll let me. It's not going to let me until I start typing in. So I'm going to type something in. This is And if I want that box bigger, I should be able to. Now I can drag it. Okay? And then if you need a box, I haven't been able to make it wider, but I just clicked on the next line and did the same thing when I needed another bit of space. And you can do that on all of these sheets for 309, 310, and 311. When you finish that, you can go to full screen. And that's a really nice picture of just 308, which would have your information. 309, 310, you would have those with your answers you see there. You can take a screenshot. Let me get that out of the way. Hold down Shift, Command, and hit 3. And your screenshot is right there, which we don't need it just yet. And then go over to the next set of information. Now, if you take a screenshot the exact same way for me and turn in page 312, even though I don't need it yet, that's fine. No problem there whatsoever. But if you want to get fancy and just take a screenshot of 311, you can do that by holding down Shift and Command and hitting 4. Then use that little cursor, and I'm sure you guys do this all the time. You probably know a lot more about this than me. Take a screenshot of just that area, and then I want to exit full screen, and I actually want to click out of that. I would save that as a copy on my desktop so it's there for next time. And then to submit, you are simply going to submit your screenshots. Okay? So to submit the assignment, you would choose a file, and I would choose that screenshot right there, open. And then I want to choose another file, which would be my other screenshot. And I would submit the assignment.
Okay.
And that should be it. If you have any questions about that, let us know. But that should make submitting your assignments for the second week and throughout much easier. Okay? Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, so this week's assignment, when you pull up math in your Canvas, it's called Histograms. And then once you click on that histograms, this opens, which we just looked at in that video. So that should help you get on the right track for today. And this week in math, you should be able to work your instructional part with me in just a second. Then you'll complete the video on your own, and then complete and submit your workbook pages. If you need to rewind back to that or back to that video on how to submit, remember you can back up and pause as much as you need to. Okay, so let's start with our iReady video for today.
Do you hear that? This forest is teeming with creatures. How many do you think are out there?
I don't know, but there's one right behind you.
Oh, how cute! A baby tapir. I've got to get a picture.
Take a good look, family. The tapir, along with its rainforest home, is disappearing before our eyes.
Hey, did you get a shot of that tapir?
Yes, sirree, I did. Right before it disappeared. My husband thinks they're magical disappearing animals.
You better get a picture of this magical, disappearing, beautiful rainforest, too.
Actually, your dad's not too far off. The humans of this world need these trees to make their paper, furniture, and other woody things, which is why so many trees are being cut down.
Yeah, but don't they grow back? They're trees.
Oh, my sweet Luna. It takes magnificent trees like these hundreds of years to grow back.
Poor babies can't keep up. And where will these cute little creatures live if all the trees disappear?
Well, some of the people from my tribe want to clear land for farming, while others want to create an animal preserve for these cute little creatures. I'm recording the number of species I spot in different parts of the forest. Here's a map of my tribal land. It's divided into 36 map squares. Each map square contains the number of species found in that area. We're standing in the area represented by D3. We found 15 different species in this area. So let's insert 15 here in the D3 square. Done! Only 3 more areas to check out and the map will be complete. Meanwhile, we have enough information to start working. Let's begin by putting the data into a frequency table.
Find location D3 on the map and enter the number into the species column of the frequency table.
Okay, so this is just a grid. D3 be right here, just 15. Now let's find that on our chart, frequency table, and put in 15. Okay.
Right on. Are you going to use the data in the frequency table to build a bar graph?
I'm not sure how helpful the results would be using a bar graph, but we can give it a try.
I see what you're saying, Doc. This graph doesn't show much. Almost all the bars equal 1. What do you think we should do?
Let's create a histogram instead. This type of graph will allow to combine ranges of values into intervals, allowing for more thorough analysis of the diversity of species in tribal territory. To build a histogram from a frequency table, first we need to sort the data. Click the down arrow to sort the data.
I wish it was always this easy to sort our data.
We use a histogram to represent a range of values, or in other words, an interval. Next, we'll make a frequency interval table. So we need to find out how many map squares appear in each of our 6 intervals. Remember to use the scroll bar on the frequency table to see all the values.
Let's start with the first row. How many map squares have only 1 to 6 species? Click the rows in the frequency table with an interval of 1 to 6.
Okay, so B6 has 3, A6 has 5, and B5 has 6.
Okay, so now we'll fill in the number of map squares into the last rows of our nifty little frequency interval table.
All right, thanks, girl.
Beautiful job, everyone. That's the way to organize the data. Looks like we're ready to build that histogram now. There were between 1 and 6 different types of species in Dr. Rio's territory in 3 of the little map squares. So, our first bar climbs itself up onto that 3rd map square line. Your turn! Finish up the remaining bars on your own. Use your arrow buttons to fill in each bar, then click the check mark.
Okay, so 7 to 12 would be 8 squares. And then 13 to 18 would be 6. Looks like 19 to 24 is 4. 25 to 30 is 9. And finally, our 31 to 36 is 3.
Super duper! Now we have our histogram.
So how is this histogram going to help the animals, Dr. Rio?
Let's take a look and see. A histogram is a graph that uses bars. Each bar equals a range of values called intervals. The height of the bar represents the frequency of that interval. Each bar in the histogram is called a class. How many classes does this histogram have?
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And how many map squares did we find between 19 and 24 different species?
Okay, so 19 to 24 looks like 4.
Click on the class that contains the most map squares.
You can tell it's that one because it does go up the highest.
I just received data from my fellow tribesmen for the last 3 map squares. Let's update our histogram so we can identify a location for the animal preserve and the farming area.
Click on the bar or bars that need to be updated with the new data. Then click the check mark.
Okay, and all of our new values are between 31 and 36, and there are 3 of those. So they should add 3 more boxes to that class.
So now there are 6 map squares in the 31 to 36 interval.
Data labels are often placed above the bars to make a graph easier to read. These numbers show the number of map squares in each interval. For example, there were 7 to 12 types of species spotted in 8 map squares.
You won't always see those numbers above, but it does just make it easier.
What is the total number of map squares represented on this histogram?
All right, to figure that out, we would simply add all of these numbers, which would give you 36. Or you might remember from the beginning of the video, when he showed us the map, it had 36 squares. I would count just to make sure, though.
So remind me, what does all this histogram stuff have to do with creating an animal preserve, Dr. Rio?
Well, now that we have our histogram, we can look to see if we spot any patterns that will help my tribe decide whether to create an animal preserve or clear the land for farming.
Right on! Let's check it out!
So, in how many map squares do we have less than 13 species?
All right, so here's 13 to 18. We want to go less than 13, so that's going to be this one and this one. If we add 8 and 3, we get 11.
Right on. I see you added the first 2 classes because they have less than 13 species. So smart.
Click on the map squares that have less than 13 species.
Okay, so less than 13.
The squares with the least amount of species are all connected. Interesting.
Aw, darling, your tribe should put the farming area in those 11 squares, so the least amount of species will be disturbed.
But what about the animal preserve? We need to protect as many species as possible. So how many map squares contain more than 24 species?
More than 24. We're going to count this one and this one. So that's going to be 9 and 6 is 15.
That's 15. So with the greatest number of diverse species in those 15 map squares, that's the perfect spot for the animal preserve. It'll be a little piece of paradise on Earth.
Well, it depends whether the map squares border each other. Let's bring up the map again and take a look.
Click on the map squares with over 24 types of species.
all of the ones with more than 24. So don't pick 24. It is 24. It's not more than 24.
You've got them all.
We found our animal preserve. Yay!
Okay, so that is your instructional part. You'll go back and redo that on your own computer by yourself and then take the quiz. Good luck. Remember, if you pass the quiz, if your class is doing the point system, that will give you 6 points. If you do the quiz and do not pass it, you can either take your 3 points or ask your teacher to reassign for you to try again for 6 points. All right, this is an anchor chart you can use as a reference when you're working on your histograms. I won't go over it, you can read it, but just know that it's here, that you can click back on it anytime you need to as a reference. All right, remember to ask your teacher if you have any questions or problems with this lesson. You can chat with your teacher through Canvas. You can use Remind through your parents, and everybody Zooms on Friday along with other times during the week. So, have a great week. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.